Magic.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the New Old Furry Podcast. I'm Kitthesoulless, and with me, as always, is Rick.
How's it going, people?
And today we're going to be talking about something that is very important in not just one, but multiple different communities, and that is roleplay aftercare. And take this for what you will, but right now I'm going to remind everybody that this is not for kids.
Yeah, not for kids. We are not intending this to be sexual in any way. It will get sexual in some way.
It will get sexual in some way because, as you pointed out earlier before the recording started, it's the same in either way you cut it. Or in this case, either way you stuff it. You knew I had to start early.
So we're going to go to the comments early today. Why do I continue coming on this again? Someone out there, give me an answer.
I have the perfect answer for you because you love it.
I didn't think I was that much of a masochist. Jesus.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. Oh. But anyways, this one is actually one of Rick's topics, so I'm going to let you kind of start off with the idea of what this particular topic means, or, what have you.
Well, for those of you who don't know, which is probably most of you, although some of you might, I don't know.
Not many people know the concept of aftercare.
Well, this is true.
And more very much should.
So, based on a earlier conversation Kit and I had that you all listened to, because you're good little subscribers who like listening to us blither on, we had an entire episode dedicated to tabletop role-playing games.
Yep.
Something that should be taken away from that is your brain is stupid. Not just you, the one listening to this right now. You, as in the general human population. Your brain is stupid. It is very easily tricked into thinking things that are not real are real. Such as when a character in D&D starts yelling at another character in D&D, it does not mean the players have an issue.
That all too regularly is the case of people take things personally when a character starts yelling at another character.
Now, I will point out, that does not mean that every time this happens, it is not a case of one of the players is being a dick.
Yeah.
That can happen too.
It can be hard to tell when it's the character being the dick or the player being the dick.
And this is where we come into today's topic. The easiest way to tell is after the emotionally charged moment, call for a break. And you don't have to be the DM to do this. As a player, you can go, can we take a step back here for a moment? I am not angry at this person. My character is pissed at their character. I don't want anyone getting weird about this. I legitimately had to do that on Friday night.
Yeah, no, I heard.
You heard, everyone else didn't.
I'm aware. By the way, would you like to share any details? No names required. Juicy information, though, would be yay.
Well, the long and the short of it, our group has done the classic faux pas and split the party.
Oh God, you never split the party.
That's what everyone says, but when you have a group of 12 people...
Oh God, yeah, no, then you can split the party.
12 characters, sorry.
Then you can split the party.
It's about the only way you can play the goddamn game.
A little bit.
Also, if any of my current party members are listening, I love you all. Why are you here trying to get information on Rin? Be gone with all of you.
I'm assuming Rin is the elf?
Yes, Rin is the elf. And Rin is very mercenary in their viewpoints, not least of which being, okay, we're going out and we are going to stealth and we are going to scout and we will report back to the main party. It'll be about a week of scouting. All right, yeah, we can do that. We could totally do that. We're leaving everyone who sucks at sneaking here, right? Yeah. Oh, we're taking one of the clerics. No, we're not.
I mean, no, we're not. Clerics suck at stealth. Unless you have a
This
very specific type of cleric.
this particular cleric is not terrible at stealth, especially because of feats I've taken that make it so I can give other people better stealth.
Wait, is this the cleric I'm thinking of?
Which cleric are you thinking of?
Didn't someone else we know play an interesting little, what is it? Tiefling cleric? No, no.
Tiefling cleric, yes.
Yeah, Tiefling cleric. Is this that cleric?
Yes. Yes, it is that cleric.
Yeah.
Now, I as a player, I adore that player. I love that character. It is an amazing thing. But my character's viewpoint here is entirely no, we're not taking any healers with us because if they die, we're fucked.
Little bit.
We are going in, we are getting out. If combat arises, if it is more than 3 against our group, we're out. We came up against undead. That cleric happens to have a vendetta against undead. It is an affront to their god. They will not allow undead to survive as long as they are present.
Yeah,
We
I
had
can
to
see where
fight.
that would be a bad thing.
Everything worked out, everyone survived. Only one party member dropped. Do you know which one it was?
Hmm.
The cleric. It was just bad luck on the dice rolls. Me and another character managed to get the cleric back up. My character's an alchemist, made a ad hoc healing potion, got them back up on their feet. Everything was fine. My character immediately slapped the cleric because it had been agreed. If combat erupts, we're out. We are not
And
here
the
to
cleric
fight.
stuck around.
It wasn't just the cleric, the ranger jumped in, and then the two NPCs that were with us jumped in. The one intelligent individual stayed like 40 feet away from the combat and was just throwing rocks because that's her character's ability. Don't
It
ask. It's Pathfinder, it's weird.
it feels a little bit like this is a murder hobo situation.
A little bit, yeah. But
I
the
can
big
understand the
issue,
cleric having the I must kill these, but the ranger jumping in?
to be fair, the ranger jumped in because the cleric attacked, quote unquote, attacked first as the undead were approaching. And it's one of those, okay, they attack once, that's fine. Next action, start moving away. Out of above game, the player says, my character can't do that. Anyone who has spent any time with my character understands why. And I'm sitting there going, I know you're right, but god damn it. This is why I didn't want a fucking cleric.
Yeah, no, clerics don't like undead. Some of them legitimately cannot avoid a fight with them.
It's it was a great little role place moment. I smacked the shit out of the tiefling cleric, saying we should have run. That was dangerous. You almost died. Roleplay happens back and forth. NPC jumps in because of the statement I make of any one of us can go down and it's fine. You go down, we're fucked. We got lucky. NPC jumps in, hey, we're not all expendable. Are you fucking kidding me? You're just a body, and we just came from a town full of mercenaries. You are replaceable as the day is long. Except I didn't say it in that calm, condescending manner. I yelled at the DM. I was yelling at the character in character, but I raised my voice. Character raises voice back at me. We have little shouting match. Uh, a lot of people who like tabletop RPGs tend to like the escapism,
Oh god, yeah.
generally because of potential trauma in their life or a shitty living situation or what have you. At perceiving this is all done online, so perceiving two people, ostensibly friends, yelling at each other with no visual cues to go off of, it can lead a lot of people into a bad headspace very quickly.
Oh god, yeah. I actually have a weird little aside that's kind of relevant to this, but I'll talk about it after.
You can talk about it now. We have gotten up to the impetus, the reason for this podcast to be recorded
I
is
mean,
what
true.
happened on Friday. Feel free to share a story.
Well, I mean, true. Very similar. I was at a live action role play when I was 18, 19 years old, somewhere around there. That
A wee bab,
was
yes.
Vampire the Masquerade. I've told you about my characters in this one. Uh, I was playing a absolutely psychotic mercenary vampire, and one of the guys that was playing with us was the dude in charge of our group. He'd been the one to pull me up, pick me up as a mercenary, asked for some help, and I agreed. We had a shouting match at one point during the game that had the people running the game literally come up and go, "Hold up, everybody, break, break, stop." Looked at us and went, "What the fuck's going on between you two?" We just kind of both stopped, looked at each other, looked at him, and went, "What? He's yelling at me in character. I just shot the dude we were supposed to save. Wouldn't you be yelling at me?" There is a point of you do have to realize sometimes that it's in character versus out of character is a thing. Sometimes some people can't tell the difference.
Well, a lot of times, online interactions especially, it's very hard to tell.
Oh god, yeah.
And as I said, after we got done with our shouting match, uh, we had one more scene the DM wanted to get to. We ran through that. At the end of it, I said, "Hey, can everyone stick around? I want to talk about what just happened in game." And everyone was just kind of like, "What are you talking about?" And I would like everyone to be aware that me and the DM, we are not angry at each other. At which point, I can feel the light bulb click over the DM's head, and he just goes, "Oh my God, you're right." Because we were full on shouting at each other. It was not playful bantering. There was no second or two afterwards of us, laughing it off. No, the characters are still pissed at each other.
So it very much looked to everyone like it was a full-on fight between GM and player, when in reality it was a full-on fight in character between character and NPC.
It made perfect sense in character in the game. Yes, we would have clashed over this. And yes, my character is far from the most delicate in such situations. The entertaining fact was another player's character came up to me after that yelling match and asked me straight up, "Do you actually believe what you just said?" And my character just kind of slumped and went, "Does it really matter? Am I wrong?"
I
And
mean, realistically, not really.
the other character was exactly that. He's a dwarf. He is very mechanical in his thinking, and he is very, "No, what you said is true. We shouldn't have risked the life of the cleric to fight that thing." But it was the cleric who wouldn't back down from fighting that thing. And yes, the rest of us are just meat shields. We can be replaced.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is some people need to think a little bit. There are some characters in role-playing games that are played in a way that they're more at risk of dying and they seem a little less important to the story. They're there to protect the ones who are the most important in the story at that time. A good example, if you've got a uh, healer, a ranger, a mage, a rogue, and all that, the two that typically get the most protection from the others are going to be the mage and the healer. Because if you've got a party and the healer goes down,
You don't have a
healer
party much longer.
healer can't do shit and you don't have a party much longer. If you have the mage going down, well, there goes the majority of your area clear and your heavy hitting. Because, I'm sorry, a warrior with a sword can do a lot of damage. it takes them a little longer to do the same amount of damage as a dude throwing essentially a giant ball of exploding fire.
Depending on the situation and the system you're in and the spells that are prepared,
Yeah.
on and on the story goes.
Well,
It
okay, I should point out a good mage.
Yeah, a mage throwing fireballs when we're fighting fire giants. Pick a different spell.
No, no,
Fireball is not the
no,
answer here.
bitch. Fireball is not the answer there. Something like fucking Cone of Cold would be great for that, though.
I'm aware.
Get me
Do
up
you know
close
how
enough
many
and
fucking wizards I've met who think fireball is always the answer?
I mean, I've probably met the same amount. It takes a lot of fucking thought to be a wizard in any game. And yet some people play it off as, well, I mean, it's an enemy. I'm going to throw fire at it.
It-
Folks, in some games, if you keep that mentality of fireball is my ultimate weapon, you go up against a fire elemental and you're undoing what the fuck your team is doing to it. Because fire usually heals creatures like that.
or any type of metallic golem or
Yeah.
uh, various flavors of draconic creatures or fire is actually underpowered as shit. It's overpowered as shit at low level. It's underpowered as shit at high level.
Yeah, it's overpowered as shit at low level or when you're going up against large masses of uh, underlings, essentially. Fucking horde of goblins. Go for it.
Fireball all day long.
Fucking two or three lich or a dragon or fucking any number of golems. Keep the fireballs in your pants.
Well, even the lich. If I'm going up against a lich, I don't really want a mage in my party other than to burn spell slots on counterspell.
Yeah.
Other than that, don't really need magic there. There is enough magic flying around.
Yeah, no, at that point, if it's a wizard versus a lich, they're literally just there to counter magic. That's the point. That would be the reason to have a mage. It's not, hey, let's throw more magic in the menu. No, it's, let's mitigate some of this so it's not hitting our people.
And if you have a good DM and there's more to taking down the lich than finding the magic box and hitting it with a sword, if there is, say a magic ritual that needs to be cast. All right, you have the wizard there for that.
Exactly. Too many people forget wizards are utility creatures, or characters. They're meant to be heavy hitters and are meant to have knowledge that other classes might not necessarily have.
Unless you're playing a 400-year-old elf that has fuzzy memory but still can make all of these knowledge checks because they might remember something from the last 400 years. Go figure. It's useful.
You are
Also, we don't have anyone like that in the party other than me.
you are playing a MacGuffin with a chip on her shoulder.
Their shoulder.
Oh right, their shoulder. Well, either way, you are playing a. I don't know why, but you tend to play MacGuffin style characters a lot. You play them
Look,
quite well.
my last character was a dragonborn barbarian. He died. He was as simple as they came. And he died. Because I played out of class. I know what I'm good at. I'm gonna stick with it, god damn it.
I mean, from what you've told me, that was still an amazing character, though. Either
Everyone
way,
loved him. Everyone is still mourning the loss of him.
god damn,
Except for
still?
me. People love that character. I don't know why.
Oh,
I made him as suboptimal as possible, and everyone loved him.
well, I mean, that's another thing is some people don't realize that when you're playing a game like D&D, min-maxing is a thing. If you want to be the game's fucking powerhouse or the, hero to beat all hero, go for it. If a fantasy is what you want, go for it. Your character's not going to have much character.
That is once again, if any of my party members are in here right now listening to this, the fuck are you doing here?
Bitch! If they are coming here to listen, I'd rather that they listen because realistically, Every roleplay groups needs to hear some of the shit we talk about in these.
That is true. And I will
Yeah.
go ahead and say it. There is one player who is not a min-maxer, but he's the spellcaster who tries to cast spells in interesting ways to get interesting results.
Ah, he's a modifier.
Sort of.
Modifier
He doesn't
mages are fun.
he doesn't modify the spells per se, but he said like we were fighting something that had a big two-handed the fuck's it called, halberd, and he asked the DM a very honest question that made perfect sense to me. Can I cast grease on his weapon?
What? Can I cast grease on his weapon? Swing.
That's exactly what happened. He gave the monster a reflex save to keep hold of his weapon, and he failed. So he dropped his weapon. At which point, the aforementioned tiefling picked it up and ran.
All I can say to this is, this reminds me of way the fuck back when I watched I believe it was a cleric at the time, cast heat weapon, or not heat weapon, heat metal.
A
Specifically
classic spell.
specifically on the seat of somebody's pants, and it didn't really do much damage to the character because he wasn't wearing armor, but he essentially did heat metal, and the GM let him essentially light the guy's ass on fire.
Told me there was a bard there to say he's lying. How can you tell? His ass is on fire.
Well, no, that was the joke. It was in the middle of a conversation. This mage is just, or not mage, I think yeah, no, it was a cleric. But one of the people who had the spell was just sitting there listening to what was going on, holds out a hand, the dude's ass starts burning. He starts running around, eventually dunks his ass into the trough of or into a water trough for horses. And the caster just walks up, looks at him, offers him a hand, and says, "That's what happens when you lie to me." Modifier mages or modifier casters can be really fun. This is what I mean by a character needs to have character. I actually at one point played a sorcerer who couldn't cast for the life of her. She could average, I think it was like 4 spells a day. She was her stats were low where they needed to be and high where they shouldn't have been.
He tried to play a muscle wizard.
Actually, no. It was a fucking whiz rogue.
That's not better.
No, it's not. But one of the things she did was uh she had a light spell where nobody listened to her. She was this demure little thing, didn't speak up. So whenever she had an idea, she'd just kind of point up and create a ball of light above her head. Light bulb moment.
Yep. I get it. I get it.
Oh. It stopped everybody whenever she had that ball of fucking light above her head. It was one of those, "Oh, she's got an idea." What? That's been up there for 5 minutes. Y'all have been talking over me this whole time. What if we just, talk to the kobold? Well, nobody here understands it. It's a slave to a group of humans. It can probably understand common tongue. Well, we never thought of that.
One of my favorite moments I ever got to perform as a DM. The party was going through a dungeon crawl, and they came to a big open cavern, and it was two-tiered. They were standing on the upper tier that was basically just a hallway. For all intents and purposes, it was. But one side opened up on this big empty pit. And I mentioned that one of the stalactites starts moving towards them. And they start freaking out as the party. They're like, "We should run back. No, we should stand our ground. We should run through. We can get through real fast. It's not moving that fast. We can outrun." And I'm sitting there listening to them, and I'm counting in my head 6 seconds at a time, because for those of you not aware, 6 seconds is the length of time a round is in combat. And every 6 seconds, as they're talking, I am moving this thing closer and closer to them. And then it gets up to them and immediately says, "Hi, guys, what's up?" The entire party shut up and stopped moving because they didn't think this thing could talk.
Hmm. Wait, so
I
what
got to
was it?
fuck with my party. I got to do the classic hourglass trap where they could have done a lot of things and they didn't do anything because they were arguing with each other.
Yeah, I get to do that too often sometimes.
That's because everyone thinks that all of your games are Hearts games.
A little bit. When realistically, even when I claim they're Hearts games, they're not Hearts games.
No, you're playing mostly spades with some clubs sprinkled in.
Yeah,
Anyone who gets that, congratulations, you watch too much Netflix.
little bit. That's another thing we need to do is find a new series. Oh.
I don't know, watching the fan fiction of Greek gods mixed with every other god.
I mean, there was a lot of bodily fluids, a lot of penetration, and a lot of, twinks, daddies, and twunks.
They couldn't even keep the twunk just as a standard twunk. He
No,
eventually got serious and his muscles increased 3 sizes on that day.
yeah, pretty much.
We should really cut all of this conversation out.
Aw, but why? It's really fun to make people just go, what the fuck are they talking about?
Because we have an hour time limit and we're at like 40 minutes now.
No, we're not. We're at the half-hour mark right now, dude.
You're including the before bit?
Yeah.
Huh.
We were only like 5 minutes in, because remember, 5 minutes of it was us talking back and forth before the recording.
Yeah, that's true. In case this does
Oh,
get left in, once again, guys, go back to the early episodes and watch our views on technology, for they have attacked us once again.
yep, a little bit. I think we did a pretty good job, or at least I think we did a pretty good job at, you know, picking up where we left off, and I kind of want to shoot fucking OBS for the fact that this is the one time it's done this shit and then continued recording. We could have just kept going.
We would have had a
Anyways,
lot of compression to do, but we
oh
could have.
god, yeah. Yeah, well, actually, I would have only had to cut out like 3 minutes.
Anyway, I feel like we got slightly off topic because we started
Just a
talking
little
about
bit.
tabletop role playing games again.
A little bit. This going back to the thing. If you have a situation in game that is heated between two characters, two things you need to do afterwards. One, request a pause. Request taking a little couple minutes and reassure the people that you're dealing with, either the ones that have, or actually not either, but both the ones that have witnessed it, that you're not actually mad at the person you were just screaming at. And if the need arises, the one that you were screaming at, remind them that that was your character, not you. You're not mad at them. Everything's fine. Because I've
It's
also,
just a game, dude. Calm
yeah,
down.
because I've also seen that go the other way of somebody lost their shit in game, and then it was one of those, the person that they were losing their shit on, like the player for the character they were yelling at, didn't know it was in character, and literally started crying mid game because of it.
And that can happen. That can
It
that can
happens
happen
way too often.
easily. And that's something, once again, my character is not the most delicate.
Hell no.
When discussing who are we going to take on the stealth mission, one of the clerics, not the one we've been talking about so far, we have two in the party, one of
Oh,
them
nice.
goes, "I'm not terrible at stealth. I could go with you." My character immediately turns on them and says, "No, because in the moment that we get caught and we have to turn and run, you are going to stop and either try and fight or try and help someone who goes down. At which point we are not down just one character, but two, one of which is a healer. We're not taking you."
Yeah.
I still need to apologize to that player because that was very harsh.
Little bit.
And it didn't dawn on me until later that, oh, that was kind of insulting her play style entirely, and I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. realistically, folks, whether it's roleplay in the bedroom or roleplay with dice, you really do need some aftercare.
Take a minute, talk it out, and even for those who are engaging in the uh, high energy role play, shall we say? Oh yeah, as I said, we're not intending this to be sexual. It'll get there.
Yeah, a little bit.
That once again, we're going back to the your brain is stupid. If you just spent 2 minutes having a shouting match with someone, you're probably amped up. You probably got a little excess adrenaline going through your vein because your brain thinks, oh, we need to be doing something right now. If you happen to smoke, go outside, take a smoke break. If if you don't, get up, go for a walk, take 2, 3 minutes, just walk it off. Explain to the party, hey, I need to go outside for some air. I need to do whatever. Do whatever you have to do to not keep that kind of energy at the table.
Yeah. I mean, there is one point in which you might want to keep that kind of energy at the table, and that is if you were with a very, very good group who can all kind of bounce off of each other and keep in character and then brush it off later. I've had groups like that too. But
They
even that
exist, but
requires.
odds are you're not finding them.
Yeah, no, they're. Oh my god, finding a group like that is like finding the fucking Holy Grail. I have seen, I think, a grand total of in 20 years, I think two groups that were like that. And to a degree, even they had to, on occasion, stop and go, okay, is everyone alright? Yeah. Okay, good, because we just literally had a shouting match between five different people, one of which got very, very racist in character, or one of which got very, very violent in character, and somebody just lost their head. Is everyone really okay? Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's keep going.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you here because you said that, oh, that's the Holy Grail as though that's the greatest group you could ever be with.
Oh no,
It's
no. Holy Grail
if
is
you're
in
not
rare
into
as
that
shit.
kind of game,
Holy Grail as in rare as shit, not Holy Grail as in best thing ever. If you're into that sort of thing and you can deal with that sort of thing, it's the best feeling you can get playing a game like that. But understand, groups like that are also usually seriously high intensity and they have a way of living the game rather than just playing it.
yeah, I can't argue with that. It's with a game like that, with a group like that, that's the kind of group where I would feel the DM should be perfectly comfortable not requiring a dice roll on certain things like an intimidation check.
Oh god, yeah.
No, that speech you just made was pretty goddamn intimidating.
Oh god, yeah. Again, one of the groups I was in that was actually like that was my Vampire the Masquerade live action. No one required intimidation checks from one of our guys because he was literally 6 feet tall, built like a brick fucking wall. And when he wanted to intimidate, it was he would literally grab you by the scruff of the shirt, lift you off the ground, and start yelling at you. And if you had a problem with it, like if you legitimately showed any sign of "whoa, what the fuck," he would immediately set you down, tell you, "Sorry, I got a little carried away. Are you okay?" He played a gangrel,
My mhm,
giant Scotsman.
my issue with that, and it is specifically a me issue. I don't like being touched.
Oh God, yeah, no, that was one of the things with the Vampire the Masquerade group is part of the contract is you're gonna get touched. Signing it, you're essentially signing a waiver stating that you're okay with physical contact so long as it doesn't cause injury.
Which is fine and dandy. If you are into that, that's your thing, and this goes
Yeah,
for everyone out there. Honestly, have a conversation with your group. What kind of role play is it going to be? What kind of action is it going to be? What what kind of game is a big one to ask?
yeah.
my barbarian dragonborn, we happened to be playing in a game where we were just killing goblins. Perfect for that. We have since then gotten into a slightly more politically charged game. Really glad I don't have to play him anymore.
I mean, playing a barbarian in a political setting.
It could be interesting if you built them correctly.
It
As I
could.
said,
It could be.
I went through a lot of effort to make him suboptimal.
Uh, I'm. All I can say is I'm hoping you didn't Meshach that character, which you're not gonna understand that reference. But in another game I played, we had a character named Meshach who was a bard who became, or not a bard, a barbarian who became a healer. Whose not war cry, but one of his mottos was, "I'm thirsty. Where's the library?" He believed
The
that the
fuck?
library was. He believed that a library was what the fuck a tavern was. He thought library was the word for a bar. I'm thirsty. Where's the library?
Huh.
He
No, he
was
wasn't.
he was dense as fuck.
My character was not that stupid. Mostly because I started playing him that stupid, and the party took me aside, was like, dude, you need to stop this. You're going to get us all killed before we get out of the starting fucking town.
True. I mean, there's stupid and then there's stupid.
There's playing a low intelligence character, and then there is playing the suicidally stupid character.
Well, yeah, I also need to point out, by the way, in case you're watching Meshach, man, I know your character wasn't the suicidally stupid type, but it was fucking hilarious how very little he understood certain things, and yet still managed to be a damn good healer.
Well, obviously, my character wasn't a healer in any way, shape, or form, or he'd still be alive.
This character went from being a barbarian who literally couldn't talk at all
Hmm.
to finding essentially finding the quote white light, uh and then became a Boston preacher essentially.
Why?
You know what I mean by Boston preacher, right?
Uh, sort of.
The very very loud, very charismatic, uh the white light of healing, that kind of shit.
The word you're looking for there is evangelical.
Yes, true, but there's a very weird take on an evangelical preacher in Boston.
Yeah,
Uh,
generally they're Irish.
a little bit, and he kind of sounded like one. But yeah, no, evangelical preacher. Uh, and he was smart when it came to most things. One thing he couldn't wrap his head around was a library was meant for books, not beer.
See, something stupid like that. I have no issue letting a character role play that out.
Yep,
That's fine.
they're stupid,
I
then critically stupid.
yeah. The 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 reason I had a party pull me aside and go, dude, you need to stop, was entirely because I was using a high intelligence of understanding the setting and everything going on around me and doing the stupidest thing possible,
What's that?
whatever it was in the situation. Going to the circus, we get into the background of the circus where the performers are setting up and whatnot. And it's the world's tallest dwarf, who I'm fairly certain was actually an infant giant. My character goes up to him. You're tall. You sure you're a dwarf? I very nearly started a brawl at the circus.
Well, I mean, that's almost as bad as the rogue who couldn't help himself and just loved to piss off the guards.
If you're playing in the game where that's an acceptable thing, that's fine. If you're playing in the game where everyone wants to, go on adventures and have a story to tell, that
Yeah.
it can be fine from time to time, but don't make it your only defining trait.
Oh, it wasn't the guy's defining trait, but it was whenever they entered a town, it was, right, you guys are going to go off and do your shopping, find a tavern, this, that, the other thing. Let me know where we're going to be staying. I'm going to go piss off the guards. More often than not, they had to pull him out of. They had to pull him out or bail him out of a fucking jail cell, rather than pay for him to be in the tavern. Worked out wonderfully. They saved a bit of coin on the fact that they didn't have an extra person sleeping in the room with them.
You know,
All
that's a fair point.
the funniest part was they legitimately were saving money because he would do something that was just enough to get him put in a cell, but that his bail, for lack of a better word, was lower than what the fucking tavern rent would have been.
See, and that's room for the DM to step in, not step in like physically and be like, dude, you need to knock this shit up. No, that's a point for a plot hook right there.
It's actually kind of how he died.
That happens too.
At one point, he pissed off the guard by sitting there. What he thought was just normal guard and turned out to be the captain of the guard, and the woman that he was flirting with was the captain's wife. Never steal from the captain of the guard's wife when the captain of the guard is sitting right there.
This is the classic argument once again of I'm going to rob this shopkeeper. He's standing right there staring at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have like a plus 15 to my stealth. He's literally watching you the whole time. He does nothing but sit in this shop all day and watch for people trying to rob him. Well, I got a nat 20. That's nice. He is actively watching you. I don't care how good you are, you're not that fucking good.
Yeah. Some people. I've got a nat 20. I'm gonna just pocket this. You never. The shopkeeper's watching you. It's fine. It's fine. I've got good stats. Your stats can be the best thing in the world. If you're trying stealth when somebody is watching you, stealth doesn't activate. So why the fuck should you be able to pickpocket someone when they're watching you and their products? They will know before you get out the door that something has gone missing.
If they're a good magic shop, they have a wand of fireball under their fucking counter. The players aren't the only ones who have access to magic items, jackass.
That's nothing. There was, wand of fireball is one thing. When you walk into a curio shop and it's a little old lady, don't try to steal. Please. For the love of fuck, don't try to steal anything from the little old lady running a curio shop. Because the chances of that door slamming shut and you winding up in a pocket dimension, pretty high.
You find yourself suddenly on an endless seascape, but is it really the sea? It's hard to tell where the sky full of stars ends and the what you can only describe as liquid below you begins. And is that an astral dreadnought coming at you? Wow, sucks to be you, buddy.
Yeah, in my
Hope
case...
your party has access to Wish.
In my case, it's usually... Okay, she saw you. You're trying to walk out the door. You open the door, and you nearly fall into an endless fucking abyss. Are you sure you don't want to go put that back?
You give them the option of going back. You're nice.
I mean... It all depends on the NPC. I've legit had somebody try to steal from a shop where the dude pulled out a crossbow and sunk a fucking bolt into the back of the guy's head as he tried to walk out, versus the little old lady with a curio shop that when you enter you don't notice it, but you just walked through a fucking dimensional rift that she controls. She can literally be in any town, anywhere, literally can even open up shop in a fucking cave, and you just tried to steal from her. She's usually a very nice, very understanding old woman. She's grandma. You just stole from grandma. Grandma can fucking kill you. She's gonna give you the chance to apologize. If you don't, grandma's gonna spank you in ways you never thought possible. That's also a phrase, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like that phrase. Can we go back to players yelling at each other? That was a more acceptable topic to be on.
Yeah, no, that's also another thing is, guys, again, on the same topic of, not grandma, by the way, but on the topic of, aftercare for roleplay, if your GM is doing something in-game that makes everyone feel uncomfortable, Like, for example, playing off an evil really fucking well. If you're the GM and you notice that everybody is uncomfortable with it, tell them it's literally first off, inform them that yes, you are just playing to that character. You are just, you know, making it more interesting. And then fucking dial it back.
That second part's the important part.
God, yeah.
If you're making your entire party uncomfortable, even if you are playing, Satan himself,
Yeah.
and it makes sense for him to be this mustache twirlingly evil, if it's making the whole party uncomfortable, dial it back, man.
I
It's
mean,
cool. It happens.
it's if they're getting uncomfortable with you talking about eviscerating people, don't then sit there and fucking eat a live baby in front of them.
I mean, how else am I going to carefully announce to them they're fighting an Oni?
I've literally seen that happen at one point where somebody took the I'm being evil and again live action role play, so it can be really bad when this happens. Uh he didn't get the hint that people were getting uncomfortable with how well he was playing off the villain. And it was one of those he had props. Everyone was getting uncomfortable and he was just sitting there twiddling his fingers and talking about killing an entire fucking town. He should have been able to read the room and dial it back a little bit, especially after somebody muttered under their breath that this was creepy as fuck. Instead of punching down into the fucking chest of what looked like a person, it was a mannequin, pulling out a heart and starting to nom on it in front of them. Which, by the way, if you do live action roleplay, jelly hearts are fucking a good ass prop for an evil person.
Did he at least say Kalima?
No.
God damn it. Wasted opportunity. I don't care how serious the moment is. If there is a chance for you to pull out someone's heart and you don't say Kalima, fucked up.
No, he didn't say the Kalima. He literally just went from bug eyes twiddling fingers against each other to sudden fist slams down, creates a loud ass bang, and then a crack as he rips a heart out of what looks like a real person. We had 3 people that day literally walk out going, I'm done.
Once again, aftercare is important.
God,
Before care is also a thing. Prior care? Pre-care?
Pre-care,
I don't
prior
like pre-care.
care.
I'll go with prior.
Prior care, yeah. If you're going to be playing, first off, definitely communicate, let everybody know what kind of game you're playing. Because you do not want somebody, a good example, you don't want somebody who's new to this particular type of game, or new to roleplay in general, walking into a situation where they've got fucking a mustache-twirlingly evil villain that plays it way too well.
At the same time, as we said earlier, you don't want to show up with a character decked out for combat and there's very little combat.
Yeah.
Why is that character there?
Which seems to be the problem in most D&D nowadays. Too many people just want a power fantasy.
Yes and no. It's the problem with D&D. The problem with the kids these days is they don't remember where it came from. Play some fucking second edition. Your power fantasy of your perfect character? No, that's some bullshit. You have 6 characters with you when you show up to the table. You'll go through at least 4 of them.
God, yeah. You'll go through at least one of them in the first couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always that stupid fuck that walks up and goes, "Hey, look, it's a golem. I'm gonna poke it." You shouldn't do that. But it looks cool. Poke, crush.
Oh no, it's even beyond that. There is a giant dragon over there. You are in the Underdark. You're guessing it's probably a shadow dragon based upon the fact that you saw it breathe upon that group of people over there, and they literally withered to death.
I can sneak past it.
You sure you want to go this way?
I can sneak past it. Why do I feel dead? Why do I feel like death?
Wow, you're fucking lucky. You were level 6. He only breathed 5 negative levels on your ass. Welcome back to level 1, bitch. You ain't got shit.
God damn it. Or that, God. I remember Gen 2. Fucking second edition. I literally watched a fucking. Essentially a tank. Our group's only tank. Wind up with a curse that fucking reduced his health down to like 3.
What kind of tank was he?
Essentially, he was a berserker.
I ask that, and anyone who's played second edition knows I'm full of shit. There's only one tank in second edition, and it's a fighter.
Yeah. Well, no, he played like a berserker. I
There's
don't
different
know.
flavors of fighter, but it's
Yeah.
all fighter.
I don't know how this fucker did it either. Anytime his health went down below half, somehow he started pulling out fucking 18s, 19s, nat 20.
Did you check his die?
He was rolling my dice.
All right, so I trust it even less now.
Fuck you. Oh. Oh, but yeah, no. Anyways, anything else we want to put into this particular topic?
There's more to tabletop role-playing games or any role-playing game than just the power fantasy.
Oh god, yeah.
Min-maxing is a method of play. It is not the only method of play.
God. Again, yeah.
Apparently, if you make a lovable idiot character, everyone around you will love the idiot, but you'll get tired of playing the fucking idiot.
I mean, after a while, yeah. By the
And
way,
remember, the game is not all about you. You are not the only individual there. Take into account other people's feelings.
oh yeah. By the way, the lovable idiot crack, we actually had somebody in our weekly game that was the lovable idiot who died spectacularly. Also,
In
hello
your
out there,
world, you don't
Mazeron.
play the lovable idiot. The lovable idiot dies.
No, this guy actually did pretty good right up until he tried to get into some divine thing that required you to go through a hellish gauntlet to become a contestant. He got it about 2/3 of the way through the gauntlet before he essentially dropped an 11-ton marble slab on him.
You pull the rocks fall, everyone dies.
No, he was the only one in it. It was legitimately a modification of. I warned him that it wasn't a good way to go. It was literally a rendition of my
Your
halls
cave
of
of
the
eyes.
my halls of the blind. Yeah, that instead of it being a the room fills up with water, it was there's an altar there, there's a book over there. Literally, the answer is to take the book and put it on the altar on the book stand, not on the altar itself. There's 3 gems and a cup. You then put the cup in front of the book, put the gems in the cup, and poof, you're done. Door opens up. And not a trick door either.
So you were giving him easy mode.
I gave him easy mode, and he decided, what happens if I remove everything from the slab? Well, the slab starts sinking into the ground. I'm gonna let it sink all the way. Why?
Because the answer to the hourglass puzzle.
Ugh. When you're
The
being
answer to the
warned this
hourglass
is a
puzzle is to let
hellish
the
gauntlet.
sand run through the hourglass.
I know. But when you're being told this is a hellish gauntlet that is meant to test every aspect of you in every possible way that could be fatal, why do you take the room with thick-ass marble walls and a giant ceiling as the one to assume is the hourglass one, or the hourglass thing, when you've already been through the hourglass thing at least once?
Because you're the kind of psychotic fuck who would put 2 of the exact same puzzle in front of the players to see if they'd be smart enough to just use the same trick again.
Granted, but still. Anyways, we're actually at time, so that's probably going to be the end of this one. Once again, is there anything else we want to add to it?
Y'all should play more D&D.
God, yes, please. We very much need more interesting D&D groups in the world, because some of them are good, but I've seen way too many that are just why?
Because nobody's alive who remembers second edition, or they're over the age of 30 and no one's to be trusted over the age of 30. One of the two.
I swear to God, I've played in a D&D group that felt a little bit like the GM and the rest of the players were just virgins trying to have sex.
Yes, so have I. And then I quit your weekly game.
Oh, hush. That was more like the slut trying to teach a bunch of people who had never seen a dick before.
That's yes, it's the Walter joke. I'd rather have 6 virgins and 1 slutty broad.
Yeah, no, don't give me 70 virgins. Give me fucking six. Give me a couple virgins and then a slutty chick. The virgins get old quickly. Anyways, that's it for this episode. So until next time, everybody, bye bye.
Doodles all.